All right, this one goes out to the fool as I know it. Okay, some people don't know when to stop. You're saying that someone should stand up to me, and I'm cracking a whip like I have control over all these people. And you're saying that people bow to me because of my magical powers, because I got, a whole 40,000 subs, which is tiny compared to some people that have even been on my channel. Okay, which is tiny compared to the some of the founders. 40,000 subs is nothing. I guess when it compared to you, I guess it is. I guess it's a lot to you. But for a year and a half, dude, there's like how many people in this sector? And how many people with my sub count and over? And you spend a year and a half on me and Edward? Really? And you pick through my live streams just to find something to disagree with, even though most of the stuff that you disagree with, you have no knowledge of the subject. Like when me and Victor Universe were talking about artificial intelligence and chat GPT and all that kind of stuff. That's a 2-year conversation that we've been having. You come into it at the tail end. And when I say that chat GPT is dumbing down people, I mean it. I mean it because I spent 2 years with almost 3 years with my grandson with online study. In fact, we're going through a hybrid program right now with his school with online study. And it's a mixed bag. And he tries to shortcut and get the answers from like ChatGPT or some kind of other AI instead of figuring it out in his head because it's an exercise. So yes, it is dumbing down people. It is dumbing down the intelligence because eventually going to lose the ability to read. People don't read as much as they used to anyway. And people are starting to lose the ability to read and comprehend and digest. Because even more so, you think that with the access to information that people wouldn't believe what they believe in. They still do. They still follow the exact same trends. And I proved it with Big J Triple X, that most people do not really know how to search for information. They really don't. And once they get it, they really don't know how to digest it. Just because it spits it out doesn't mean that you understand it. And I see that with students all day long because I'm around them. I see how it was programmed to dumb people down starting with 1980s because they didn't think that they would need more than 10% of the people to actually be able to think and do complex work. And everybody else is going to be someplace in the service sector. So they started dumbing down the program. Common Core education model, they've been complaining about that for 35 years. It's not new. And instead of making their brain stronger, you give them a crutch and you encourage the child to actually use it. Now, adults, I don't care about. You use it and you can get things done with it and it aids your workflow, whatever it is. I have no problem with it. For people that actually have to code and think, okay, eventually the chat GPT is going to replace you if you use it for work because you're training the goddamn thing as you go along. It's already replacing some doctors already in some places for some things. Like a lot of your lab techs have been replaced already by artificial intelligence, especially the IBM Watson program, okay, that's trained for medical science. They reduced a lot of your staff in tech as far as medical tech, as far as lab analysis, because the AI does it faster and cheaper. AI is already reviewing doctors' work as far as lab results and all kinds of stuff. In fact, the doctors are actually writing their notes faster through AI. When they transcribe it, the AI writes the notes for them, which I don't have any problem with. You still have to become a doctor. You still have to do hands-on. Otherwise, for the most part, if you're just going to walk in and give a prompt to ChatGPT and have them write all your work for you, then you never learn to write. You never learn to think. You never learn to exercise that muscle we call the brain. The brain has to be exercised. If you don't exercise the brain, it won't grow. So in essence, if We moved from a reading model, which is ChatGPT, to a conversational model, which is your digital assistant, to where you not only talk to it, but it talks back to you and gives you the information. Then guess what? You'll lose the ability to actually read. Most people don't read anyway once they get out of school, for the most part. You start losing your ability to read and comprehend, which is what I was saying. That is dumbing you down. You have abilities now that you won't have in the future. The future generations may or may not have, if you're not careful. I think one of your partners was talking about you have access to all this information and it's making you smarter. No, not for some things. In fact, it was just in South Park, the Pandaverse, where people had access to information. It may not, you have very smart people that didn't know how to turn a screw, didn't know how to repair anything, didn't know how to fix anything, because we rely on specialists, which is why your handymen make so much money. The richest people in the world were what? Handymen, because they're the only ones that knew how to fix things. People have lost that knowledge. You would think with YouTube and all the access to tools that people would be better at fixing things, and they're not. So even though the information is there, the basic knowledge and the basic handling of tools, people have lost. A lot of people have lost how to grow food. 100 years ago, 90% of your people knew how to grow food. In some little patch of garden somewhere, they knew how to grow food, knew how to plant seeds and raise a garden. Like 90% of your people 100 years ago. In 2023, about 3% know how to grow food. So they cut off the water, electricity, and the grocery stores were unfilled. Guess what? 90% of people probably starve. They don't know how to grow food. Basic stuff people are losing the ability to do. They've lost the ability to get along with each other and preserve marriages. They've lost that. They've lost that ability. Hell, most people are starting to lose the ability to actually converse with each other because of the technology in the phones. That's recorded every day about the slippage. But that's a different story. Okay? But you want to nitpick about stuff that you don't understand. I know you don't understand it. Because you want to be the HNIC. You want to be the leader. You want to be the one in charge. You want to be the one to stick it to the man. You're in the stands. You want to get on the court, which is why I have this channel, The Master Teacher Responds. So I believe you don't know very much. That's my impression of you. I believe that you think you know something, but your knowledge is very limited. But you think you want to take my place. You think that you can. And the last time we talked, I asked you what your program was and what your program was about. You couldn't tell me. And when I told you, how do you expect me to sell your program to somebody else when you can't sell it to me? You can't convince me. So I'm not going to convince somebody else with your program. And evidently you can't convince anybody because your channel's not growing. Nobody's listening to you. So you want me to be your unpaid worker. For what reason? Why? What do you have? And the stuff that I've seen you come up with is lacking. Severely lacking. The most I've seen you come up with, the most passionate I've seen you is when you're trying to go at me and Edward. Now, why? Me, I can understand. Edward, I don't understand. I don't know why you go at him. For what reason? Trying to tell Charles to stand up to me. Charles is a peer. Charles is not a follower. He's a peer. Charles is my friend, not just a subscriber. Like Dr. Johnson is my friend, not just a subscriber. You're going at him. Dr. Johnson is my friend. Charles is my friend. Edward is my friend. They're not my followers. I help Charles because Charles is my friend, and I help a lot of people that are in my sector. If they're not assholes, you're an asshole. That's how come you don't get any help. You need some help, but you want to be an asshole to me. Now, would you help somebody that was an asshole to you? I don't think so. But I'm going to do you a solid. Since this is the Beef Channel, and this is where we settle and respond to beefs, I'm going to do you a solid. I'm going to put my email address into the description so that you can email me. Now, you can step off to the field of battle on this channel when you're available, because most people run, and we can do battle with what you know. And all that hollering and screaming is not going to do you any good. If you know something, you want to lay out your case, I'll give you a chance to lay out your case. If it's one video, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But we're not going to talk about the same bullshit that you've been talking. Family building warrior. That doesn't mean anything. Speaking weakness into men. That doesn't mean anything either. But you want to take my place? Guess what? To be the champ, you got to beat the champ. And I say the same thing I say to everybody. You want the crown? 10 topics. All different, video for video, in different areas. If you can do that and you can beat me on the field of battle, I'll give you the crown. But I'm going to put my email in this video for you. Because at some point you need to go away and go live your life and go do your content like most people do. Because one, you're not getting any traction. Two, you're not bringing any people to you. The easiest way to bring people to you, son, is do what everybody else is doing. They do reaction videos. You got a world of TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. You can actually react to people that are saying something that you either agree with or disagree with. Fastest way to get clients. Fastest way to get subs. Fastest way to find people that rock with your message. But evidently, you're too dumb to do that, if that's what you really want. I think you're lazy. That's what I think. I think you're too lazy to do the work. And I think you don't want to be larger because you don't want to take the slings and arrows of having a larger channel or even a large channel, because they're going to come and they're going to challenge you and they're going to find out how little you know. But this going back and forth and nitpicking like a bitch is not going to help you. That's female. That's dirt. That's dirty. That's like a dirty macking female trying to ruin your reputation with lies. Oh, he's lying to the people. He's speaking weakness into them. Where? He just threw some garbage at him. Dude, you didn't even understand half the stuff that we said. And that's the issue. You guys think you're smarter than you are and you're not. That's the problem. You think you're smarter than you are and you're not. So here's your opportunity. That's why I made this channel. Here's your opportunity to respond. I don't respond on the bigger channel. You know why? Because my subs don't like it. They don't like it when I crunch on people or get out of pocket with people or waste my time with nimnots like you. Dr. Johnson just told me that a couple days ago. Why do I waste time with nimnots like you when I'm needed elsewhere? Unlike you, I get emails all the time and I get texts all the time and stuff like that from people that I've helped. Just had a brother that listens to one of my old videos every day. Value your time and attention. I did that years ago. One of the first ones I actually did on my BJ Edmore channel, a long time ago. It's still true today. That's why I was talking about male emotional labor today, which Dr. Johnson just wrote a paper on, especially black male emotional labor and how it's unrecognized. And the feminists use that as weapons against us. Got to disarm them somehow, right? But you're here talking about weakness. We're here teaching brothers about patronus patriarchy and the end of the patriarchy, right? Because what you have is a white gynocracy. But women won't tell you that because they don't want you to gain power. But I haven't seen anything innovative that you've come up with at all. It's just BGS and Edward are losers. Or family destroying losers. You knucklehead. Anyhow, if you want to carry this forward, get at me. There's the email address. If you don't, man, you have a nice life and go away. Go do your thing. If you want to step up, you want to challenge, this is where you start. Prove to me that you're worthy. If not, step off and go do something else. Anyhow, speed us out. I'll see you guys on the next one.